like this maybe or something. Hello. I'm so glad to be doing this for the third time, the third virtual Bridges poetry reading. The first poem I'm going to read, I wrote it after I watched some movie. I think it was either about mountain climbing or about bank robbing. People had passion for either one. I've probably seen movies about both of them, but anyway. So I wrote this poem. It's called So Glad. I'm so glad my passion isn't mountain climbing, hang gliding, or bank robbing. So glad my way of bargaining with the human condition, of trying to be unique, trying to be one with the universe, isn't dangerous or expensive. Mathematicians haven't really agreed on the definition of math, but one mathematician said, math is what, if everything else disappeared, would still be there. If everything else disappeared, mountain climbing and bank robbing would not still be there. If everything else disappeared, I would too. Math would be there all by itself. And sometimes I believe that would be okay. If everything but math disappeared, that just might be okay. And the second poem was written while I was working on a long time ago. I was working on a problem in graph theory. I didn't know it was in graph theory. It had to do with points and lines. And this poem, I have a book about my passion for math, and that book was written while I was working on this problem. The book is called Crossing the Equal Sign. Some of you know it, some of you have read it, about my passion for math. And I edited the following poem out, and I should not have edited it out, but somehow I did. It's called This Math Problem. I do not have to know whether there's a God. I do not have to know whether there's a self. But by George, I have to know about these lines. Which way should they aim, or should they spin? Where must they go? What must they do? Things do not have to be symmetric, but things have got to be transitive. Lines have got to get you there. And things have got to be reflexive. Points have got to get you here. This poem is called One Reason I'm Glad I'm a Mathematician Rather Than a Chemist. My research will not kill me. My vision might get blurred, joints might feel sore, guts might try to escape, but I won't die of associative arithmetic's poisoning. Oh, I might get poisoned, but I won't die. No, I won't die. This next to the last poem is called End. And they say that poems lie a lot. Well, I don't think my poems lie a lot, but this one I think does. It's called End. They say we begin with answers and end with questions, but mathematicians begin with questions and end with the same questions. Are formulas coincidences? Are proofs coincidences? Especially when the proof is long. Long proofs are suspicious. A proof should be one step. A thing happens for only one reason. Are algebraic identities coincidences? When something cancels out, is that a coincidence? What exactly are the questions? We begin with questions and end with nothing. Just a bunch of theorems, just a bunch of proofs. That's the lie. I think that a bunch of theorems and a bunch of proofs are not chopped liver. They're great. Anyway, the last poem, it's called My Choice Today. It's dedicated to all us math poets who don't actually do math. We're mathematicians. If we write math poetry, we've got to be mathematicians in some way. But some of us actually do math, like I do. So this is dedicated to the ones who do math. My choice today. I have beside me math and poems. I want the math more, but it's riskier. If I take up the poems, I can write down something, but math, sometimes the equation I acquired last week is useless or wrong. And sometimes the equation I begin with turns out to be the one I end with. And sometimes that doesn't give me ideas. I look at the math, I long for the math, but at least today I am afraid.